Oh my God. What happened to your eyes?
Where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
Jason is my son, and today is his birthday. Have dinner with us. My brother makes good head cheese. Candyman, I get cheese. Candyman, Candyman. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to. We are the creators of the Spooky Pit, the innovators of the Passion Bump, and we are taking you down the darkest rabbit holes of all things horror.
Welcome, spooky bitches. We review horror movies and fuck 'em with comedy. We are your final bros, Bryan Hotboy LaGrasta and Shane, the straightest hair in the business, Smith. And we are joined by our scream queen, Jen, the producer.
Hola. Trying to think about the straight hair.
My hair is hella straight. It's actually the most accurate nickname Brian has ever given me.
Okay. I like the last one more.
That one was good too, but my hair is just so
What were
straight.
the last two you gave him?
Something about a shamrock.
Yeah, that was
Did
pretty
they just we're gonna have Shamrock Shakes in 2 months. McDonald's sponsor us.
Actually, when this episode comes out, we can have Shamrock Shakes
Yeah,
because this episode comes out March 8th.
right after my 30th birthday. So
Yeah.
if anybody listening wants to get me something for my belated birthday, I take checks. I take clean sewer pipes running out into the street.
Venmo in the description.
So, with all that said, we are talking about Event Horizon today, a movie I thoroughly enjoyed, but would have enjoyed even more if all the good stuff wasn't cut.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I liked it as it was.
Yeah, I like this movie.
Did you read how the audience reacted when he showed them the original cut?
Yes. So, I'm just going to go right into it.
Shane, just kill it.
I'm going to kill it.
Go for it.
This is a movie that is an hour and about 38 minutes. The original cut of this movie was about 2 hours and 15 minutes long. When they first screened this movie for audiences, people were throwing up and leaving.
They fainted.
Yes, they couldn't handle what they were watching.
So this is, sorry to interrupt you. This was 97.
Mhm.
There's had to be worse than 97.
100%. I don't know what bunch of fuck people they got to watch this movie, but they don't understand good horror, because after these people watch it, they cut out all the gore and they cut out a lot of backstory. So there's scenes we're going to get to in this movie where we get quick flashes and montages, which were much longer scenes. And I'm going to describe each of those as we get to them. Also, there's characters in this movie that had their entire backstory deleted. So when things happen to them, it makes no sense. Also, this is something Jen also knows. Original tapes of these scenes were kept in a salt mine in Transylvania.
I had to find different sources for that, because when I read that sentence, I was like, oh,
Blows my mind.
That is the perfect place to archive movies. How are we still not doing that? We got to move the Disney archives. You know what? Let's move Bambi into the salt mines. Snow White has a place in the salt mines in Transylvania.
Seriously, that was the first thing I asked Shane too. When he told me this, I'm like, what are the logistics of it going from, I don't know, it's probably made in Hollywood, I would assume. So from LA to fucking Romania.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I have no idea.
If it was made in Romania, do they just keep all their important documents in salt mines? If we really hid the Declaration of Independence there, they'd just be like, salt mine now, gotta get it there.
Get in the salt mine.
What's your bunker? Where do you guys bunker? In the salt mines.
I just realized you'll probably find Edward Snowden in the Romanian fucking salt mines.
Yes. So I'll bring this up now. All the extra footage, since it was stored in a salt mine, was destroyed. The director thinks there are other copies out there.
Not all of it. There is a director's cut, a small director's cut.
It's a small one though. It doesn't have everything. He wants to do a real director's cut where he gets his 2 hour, 15-minute movie, but
someone is hoarding that. We know they are. We know someone to put it away in the salt mines, and they were just like, I should take that.
What is it? Is it real? Is it film reel? What's in
so
that,
that's the thing. This movie was filmed. Yes, this movie was
Okay.
filmed before DVDs. So since there wasn't DVDs yet, VHS didn't have the capacity to have all those bonus scenes. So they would just either store these tapes or get rid of them. So that's why sadly this movie was before that and we don't get that. But man, I would love to see this cut of the movie.
Hell yeah.
So with that said, I'll mention, like I said, the other parts that come up. Let's jump right into the spooky pit.
A rescue team is tasked with exploring a spacecraft that vanished in a dark hole and returned under mysterious circumstances. Only something else is now on board. Event Horizon was released in 1997, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, but I believe the credits have him as Paul Anderson back in that film.
Yeah, it's before you had the WS.
Going back real quick to the audience that fainted that Shane thinks have no taste in horror movies. I don't think they were showing it to an audience that had taste in horror movies. I think they were showing it to your average everyday viewer that was like, oh, horror movies out in the movies. Let's go.
That means that they probably used the wrong test pool.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of want to show a little bit of both, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
like a
Because
variety.
because if you're supposed to make money back off these movies, it has to be somewhat accessible for everyone to see. If my friend told me a movie made them throw up, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't go see it.
I say, and I'm the opposite. If Brian's like a movie made me throw up, I buy it before I watched it.
There is no, I'm going to be honest, for me, there's
Yeah.
no gore that would make me throw up. It would be probably people throwing up that would make me throw up. Like something disgusting, like maybe like excess shit or vomit, like because you have that whole vomit gore thing.
Well, this is in the 90s. This isn't now. Like we're kind of used to it now. Like we have so much content in this day and age that like it almost reminds me of that line in Jim Carrey's The Grinch where he's like, kids today so desensitized by movies and television.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the 90s, I don't think people were used to that yet. When did Green Inferno come out?
That was
2016.
13.
Yeah.
13.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of like older movies that had like
Cannibal
amount of-
Holocaust, but that probably wasn't like you're not gonna go to the movie theaters and see Cannibal Holocaust, I would assume.
Oh wait, I did look up something about the rating for this movie. Let me see.
Well, the original
Very
cut would have been
different
rated
one.
NC-17,
Yeah, the director described it as the kiss of death, NC-17 rating.
which it is. No one's going to see an NC-17 movie for the most
Yeah,
part.
but that's why unfortunately he had to cut it down. I wish he kept those himself because it didn't like a different director say that like 15 years from now he's going to be like so proud of this movie.
I forgot who said it. Someone said when he looks back at his career, he's going to look back and say Event Horizon was his best movie he directed, which
Yeah.
it actually is.
So I
Yeah.
wish he would have kept the tapes himself and been like, this is just my memento for filming this. Like, how dare you fucking put them in a salt mine?
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
I think that's crazy. And I like this movie and I
Who
can't wait
thought
to talk
of that?
I can't wait to talk about it, but I can only imagine how much better. Like I just think of
Yeah.
the loss of potential because there is a lot of things that are unexplained.
Mhm.
We'll get into them.
We definitely will in detail.
So continue with the cast.
Yeah, so this is a horror sci-fi and it stars Lawrence Fishburne as Captain Miller, Sam Neill as Dr. William Ware, Kathleen Quinlan as Peters, Jolie Richardson as Lieutenant Stark, Richard T. Jones as Cooper, Jack Noseworthy as Justin, Jason Isaacs as DJ, and Sean Pertwee as Smith.
Yes. Very good performances by Sam Neill and Fishburne. I actually really like them in this movie.
Sam Neill is great at crazy.
Yes.
Like
He's incredible. He does the movie, one of me and your personal favorites, Possession.
yeah,
Excellent performance by Sam Neill in that movie.
that movie is virtually lost to time.
Yes, it's impossible to find. I had
Great.
a big
So you're going to make us watch it.
I want to do it so bad, but it's impossible to find.
yeah. I dug deep and found it on the internet,
Yeah, you did.
but yeah, maybe one day we'll get to it.
If we can, maybe if it becomes more accessible, I'd love to because I'm not kidding. That is like a topper for me.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That is a topper movie. And I've only seen it once, and I know you've only seen it.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out, Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed this movie, he also directed the Mortal Kombat movie, which was a decent adaptation. Also a movie that had absolutely no blood in it, despite being a Mortal Kombat movie.
Which is
Very
crazy.
strange.
Yeah.
He directed Death Race with Jason Statham.
Solid movie.
He directed Alien vs. Predator. Not terrible.
Not terrible.
But then he directed
I like that movie.
almost the entire Resident Evil series.
Yeah. So I'll give him a pass on the first one.
Yes.
Everything beyond that is
Garbage.
garbage, especially if you're a Resident Evil fan. I feel like I don't want to say this, but no self-respecting Resident Evil fan should like these movies, to be honest. Maybe besides the first one.
Because the first one
is legs.
if you take the Resident Evil name out, is a good movie.
Really, it's true. You take that out, and know that no character is accurate. It's a decent watch.
We're recording this specific episode way before May, but this is going to be out in March, and I can't wait for May. I'm so freaking excited. If no one's aware, we are also gamers, and I don't know if you guys are. I am a huge fan of the Resident Evil.
Resident
video
Evil
games.
is my favorite video game series of all time. I own every single game that's come out in the series.
So good.
Which
I
is
can't
why
wait.
we'll just say it now, because we have a thing now where we just throw out our future. In May, when Resident Evil 8 is coming out, we will be reviewing the first Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, we will.
Some friends of ours will also be streaming it.
Cool.
Vampire Lady has broke the internet.
Vampire Lady.
Is this just like the recording session where I know a shit ton of stuff that you guys are unaware of?
I'm just renaming it like Vampire Lady, and
Yeah, nothing. I got nothing here.
Hold on.
You've actually have now learned something every episode.
You've learned what a pocket pussy is. You learned that Army Hammer's a possible
people?
cannibal. Yeah. And now I'm going to show you Vampire Lady.
do you know what I think of? Vampire Lord, the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card.
We're Vampire
Actually,
Weekend.
There's a Vampire Lady.
There is.
Yeah.
This woman is breaking the game.
Oh, the girl from the Resident Evil trailer. Okay, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I didn't know her name was Vampire Lady. I just see the memes where
It's
people are like,
not,
please step on
but
me.
that's what they're calling her because I didn't pay attention enough to know what her actual name is. So we're calling her Vampire Lady. She has amazing boobs. We're here for it.
I
Yeah.
mean, I love boobs, so.
Yeah, no, I let
Yeah.
her choke me. So continuing on into the movie now.
Come on, keep this PG for your daughter.
Keep it PG.
The farthest we go is pocket pussies.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about much more on the fact that Shane loves tits and hookers,
That I got to throw this out
Sex
there.
workers, sex workers.
sex workers.
Yeah, all of that, great. We make Sauce McGavin's day every time he listens to an episode, and you guys bring up my daughter that I don't have.
He gets a pleasure out of it.
He literally is getting off.
Oh my god.
It stimulates him.
He's getting off on my daughter.
You all right.
She's a wonderful girl. She
Who
works-
doesn't exist.
She's
I
a
can make-
great editor on his channel.
I
Like,
can
she's
make
doing a
this joke.
phenomenal job.
She doesn't exist. I can make any joke I want because she's not real. So we just gotta accept that.
You know, like we talk about it so much, but I imagine if and when you decide to have kids, because I don't know if you even want them, not my business, if or when, I feel like you might just have a daughter because we talk about it so much.
It's fucking guaranteed.
I'm gonna be honest.
in stone.
I wanted to have kids till we started the podcast. I think it's out of the question now. So how does this movie begin, guys?
With
Opening,
Shane's daughter.
yikes. The opening title comes on. I think you're showing like a black hole. So it's like
Mhm.
you're traveling through a black hole. 2015 was the first permanent colony on the moon. 2032, commercial mining began on Mars. In 2040, Event Horizon, a deep space research vessel, set out to explore the solar system. But Event Horizon disappeared beyond the eighth planet, Neptune. It is the worst space disaster on record. And right now, this movie takes place in 2047.
Yes. So we open up the movie with some of the worst aging CGI I've ever seen. And okay, so I was watching, James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah.
He reviewed this movie. And one of the guys he reviews it with points out something that's like the CGI looks terrible, but that's because this movie was originally shot on VHS. And on VHS, you don't get that clear picture.
Yeah.
Where now on DVD, it's fucking crystal clear. And that's why it looks as bad as it does.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, it didn't bother me.
I just look terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I guess. I mean, think about the CGI in fucking Wishmaster, same year. What the fuck were they doing? And that one does.
Because the practical effects are great in Wishmaster. It always harkens back to what movie were we watching where the CGI was terrible? Was it The Cave?
Horrible.
It was, right? It was
Yeah,
The Cave.
and that was 05.
yeah, it
dude.
was brutal.
I think they went to theaters too.
It did because I saw it there. We get a view of all these floating objects in the event horizon, and then you just see this floating dead body, which is just like mutilated looking.
Completely mutilated, skin and flesh is ripped off, and
I will
quite
say
cut up.
it's probably a lack of me paying attention. Didn't really comprehend that this took place so far in the future. And I'm just
Really?
like listening to you guys describe it to me, and I was like, oh, really? And in my research, they were talking about like what the flags would look like in the future and changing different symbols and everything. And I was just like, huh, I wonder if this takes place in the future. Now you guys are talking about it, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, well, it's honestly like a flash in the opening sequence where they
Yeah.
just show the text.
Well, now that she brought it up, there is a specific scene. Sam Neill, his uniform has a flag on it. And I think it's supposed to be the Union Jack, like the Australian flag, I think it was. And he changed what it actually looks like because he wanted to make it what he thinks the flag will look like in 2047.
Cool.
So from that floating corpse, we actually directly transition to Sam Neill waking up. You see him and he has this like shrine of a woman, which we will learn is his wife. And we'll also learn that she has passed away.
He's currently on board the USAC vessel Lewis and Clark. And right now they're on a search and rescue mission. It's top secret. Captain mentions they're headed to Neptune. The captain won't let the doctor talk, bringing him through, I guess, procedure. He has to go into this tank.
He's essentially going into they don't cryo freeze you, but they put you in this like water. It's essentially cryo sleep without the cryo.
I wonder if it's like water with specific probiotics. When they come out, they say they were in there for like 56 days.
Yeah, so I'm assuming whatever the tube is, it's like also feeding them nutrients. I don't know if you have to like eat.
Yeah, it has to. So he goes in the water tank.
So the crew is in the water tank for 56 days. And then Sam Neill, we'll call him by his actual character, Dr. Weir. He wakes up early and he comes out of his cryo tank. And as he gets out, he starts to walk around. And then he sees his wife sitting in a chair, but she has no eyes.
Yeah.
And that was kind of creepy.
No, totally. Fucking beat red.
I was into it.
So he starts banging on the chambers. It appears that was a dream.
A dream, yeah. So he actually now wakes up from his sleep and he's there with the rest of the crew. And I think it's Cooper. He offers him some coffee.
And then he asks Lieutenant Stark if she'd like something big and black inside her.
It was the 90s. He could say that.
I will not condemn him for shooting his shot.
Of course not. I mean, you're in space.
He snickered.
Maybe not politely, but it was a good line.
She politely flipped him off.
I mean, we also don't know their relationship. They could just be friends and he could just be fucking around at this point. Because they technically are like a crew. So I'm sure they've always traveled together.
And they actually travel. They change in the same damn room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's like gathered that this is their crew, that they always work together because they seem to like know each other very well, know each other's specific skills and everything.
It actually is established because they're actually going to say we should all be on leave, but they had to bring them back for this mission.
Which is exactly why they hate the doctor.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ghost Ship, where the whole crew was supposed to be on leave, but then they have to go out to the Ghost Ship, a movie one day we will get to.
He loves talking about this movie. He loves this movie. I don't know.
Ghost Ship is great.
Not as much as we love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a phenomenal movie.
Whew. One day.
Stay tuned.
One day in the far future.
If you guys stick around until 2022, man, do we have a special lined up.
If you guys stick around till like 2044, you'll be so happy.
Also, the Event Horizon will be discovered.
Yeah. We don't want the Event Horizon. We can just we can leave it where it is. We don't need it.
No, we definitely do not.
Definitely don't need it.
Lawrence Fishburne shows up. His
name is Miller, right?
Yes. So Miller shows up, and this is where we meet his crew. His crew consists of Smith, TJ, Stark, Justin, Cooper, and Peters. He tells the one girl, Peters, that he's sorry he couldn't find a replacement for her, that she can't go back to her kid. This is, like I was saying, they're clearly always together, and he had to bring them all back. He then tells them what they're going to be doing here.
Yeah, and they introduce a newcomer to the ship. That would be the doctor, Dr. Ware. They're waiting for the doctor to tell them, why they are so far out. The doctor thanks them for the opportunity to come aboard. But the captain interrupts him saying, they aren't thankful. They aren't, happy that he's even has them out here. They were taken off leave to come here to Neptune. Currently 3 billion clicks from a nearby outpost. Nearby meaning the most nearest outpost is 3 billion clicks away. The doctor mentions that the USAC discovered a radio transmission from a decaying orbit around Neptune, the source being identified as the Event Horizon.
But wait, Bri, I thought the Event Horizon blew up.
So did I, Shane, but it's 2047, and guess what? It didn't.
No, I can't believe it. That's how that goes.
The sarcasm is impeccable.
Thank you. So Weir in this scene then explains the Event Horizon. And I'm not a science guy, but I'm going to do my best to explain black holes and quantum physics
All
to
right,
you.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, let's hear it.
So basically, the event horizon is supposed to get to point A to point B as quickly as possible. And by doing that, it folds time. So if you were to take a sheet of paper with a Playboy model on it and bend it in half, and then put your pen through her face and out her vagina, that's how it would work.
You know what? I understood that.
Me too, because it's actually what he does to exemplify what happens.
Yeah. Also, fun fact: I heard, I didn't see this movie, but I heard that's exactly how they explain it in Interstellar. Not with the Playboy model, but they fold the piece of paper and they put the pen through the paper.
Yeah, they do. That is correct. I can give a little bit more light to that because I did write down pretty much what he says.
Yeah, go for it.
He says that it was a secret government objective to create a spacecraft capable of traveling and being faster than light flight. He tells them that they can go around the law of relativity, but without breaking it. It creates a dimensional gateway to jump instantaneously from one point in the universe to another light years away. They use a rotating magnetic field to focus a narrow beam of gravitons, which fold space and time until the space-time curvature becomes infinitely large and produces a singularity. You get this, right?
Can I get this in layman's terms?
I'm sorry I zoned out.
Yeah. You want me to get the demonstration of the Vanessa poster?
At least I understand that one.
Point A and point B fold together so they coexist in the same space and time.
Thank you. It's
Perfect.
much easier. So then they
I just want to look at the Playboy magazine now.
Oh, but when the spacecraft passes through the gateway, space returns to normal. That process is called the gravity drive. So that jump,
The
through
gravity
hole is
jump.
the gravity drive.
So they then take out the last transmission of the event horizon, and it's all noise, but you hear one voice, and they believe it's speaking Latin. DJ listens to it, and he thinks it's the words, "Save me."
That's how he translates it. Correct.
Mhm. Yeah. So they start to get close to the event horizon, and they start to hit turbulence. But as they're going, they don't even see the ship, but they're super close to it.
Yeah, they're closing in on the event horizon, and they're not receiving any responses as they get closer. They're about to hit it, but they are able to stabilize as they come in very close proximity to the event horizon. I think they ask Smith to do a flyby, and he kind of locks them onto it.
Yeah.
Stark does a reading, and she's like, there's no gravity, but she's showing deep cold, and the crew would have been killed unless they were in stasis, which I only know is a term from Mass Effect, or else I have no idea what stasis is. The captain tells her to find them, but she can't get a reading on the location, but she does identify trace life forms on board. The captain orders them now. What they got to do is search room by room on the spacecraft. And the doctor, obviously, this is almost his project. He wants to be on board, but captain tells him, let us monitor it. Let us give this place a pat down, and then you can go in afterwards.
Yeah, a little ocular pat down.
It's always sunny.
Thank you.
Yeah, this doctor's clearly never been part of a crew.
No, he's a science guy. He's just been in a lab for years. Now he's finally out on a ship, and he's going to get taken over.
He
by
also
the ship.
barely knows how to take orders.
He doesn't ever take orders. He gives the orders.
He tries,
no one-
yeah.
And then no one listens to him.
It's also true.
Yeah, he kind of like does his own thing the whole movie because nobody does kind of, I wouldn't even say respect him. I feel like nobody like gives a crap about him.
No, literally no one wants to be here except
mean-
we're.
They don't respect him because he doesn't respect them. Like the entire movie, when they're describing what they're seeing in like everything pretty much, he's just like, that didn't happen.
Yeah, he has selfish motivations this whole trip.
He does. So I believe the three characters that go onto the ship are Miller, Jason, and Peters.
Yeah.
So Miller gets jump scared by a glove, like the floating glove kind of like jump scares him. Jason,
Or is it Justin? Sorry.
Oh, is it Justin? It's Justin. You're
Justin,
right.
yeah.
I don't know why I had Jason written down here. It is Justin. Justin goes into this like meat grinder room. Like it's a room that those spinning things, it kind of just it looks like a meat grinder.
So it looks like almost like this catwalk, and it looks like a meat grinder surrounding it. It's like if you go into like, it's not like a meat grinder, but you ever go to like those like haunted houses, you have to like walk through that rolling
That's exactly what it is.
cylinder.
Yeah.
Except it looks like a meat grinder.
Exactly. So then Peters, she goes to the bridge and she just kind of sees blood. And the camera has this like pan where it shows behind her and it's just skulls and masses of like blood stuck to the wall.
It's literally, I think it's guts, dude.
It is.
Like, it's like guts and like pieces of body just like scattered throughout the back of the room that she doesn't see initially, but you see as the viewer.
Yeah, which we will get to all that good stuff. we then see Justin. He's in now the core, and he sees all this coolant that is like floating around. Then cuts back to Peters, and she pulls something out that turns the gravity back on. And then we just see that floating corpse from the opening fall and shatter all over the floor.
Yeah. It like cracks like ceramic.
Which it's a cool parallel to a similar shot he did in the Mortal Kombat movie where someone gets frozen by Sub-Zero and gets touched and the crack. So it's a scene he likes to film. He also does something similar I just thought of in the Resident Evil movies when they're in the laser room.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He likes to do people just crumbling into pieces.
Yeah.
He's a big crumble guy.
He likes to do people?
We'll do people crumbling.
Oh, interesting.
It's suggestive. I said that very suggestively.
I see.
So the doctor, he mentioned that
what have I done?
He's brought most primary operations online. Stark mentions that the antenna array is fried. There's no radio, no laser. No one's coming or helping them. They have enough breathable air for about 20 hours as the CO2 filters are shot. So they're going to get toxic air after a while. The captain tells Smith, who just located a huge gash in the hull, they need to repair it within the 20 hours, which is way under Smith's original expectation, but he has to do so.
Justin, he turns on the power in the core on the gravity drive, and he sees the core open, and inside is like a liquid, and he sticks his hand in because I know you're like me. You see a liquid in a giant core, you're sticking your hand in it.
Always.
Jen, are you the same as us? You sticking your hand in the liquid core?
Maybe just a finger.
Okay, it's fair. Well, you shouldn't
I'll
have done
start
it
with
because it's going to pull you in.
I'll start with a finger. Maybe like a maybe I would do the Night of the Demons and do like a stick first or something.
Doesn't he get pulled in?
Yeah.
But then doesn't this cause multiple explosions?
Yeah,
on the ship?
that's when it happens. Yeah. So once he gets pulled in, literally the whole ship starts to explode.
And then they pull him out of it.
Yes, because Cooper just comes flying in and he says, "I got you, baby bear."
And then Smith tells them that the hulls have been breached.
Yep.
Oxygen tanks are broken. There's limited gas to weld. And they suggest moving on to the event horizon.
Yes, because their ship from all these explosions is just, it's fucked.
Yeah.
The ship's fucked.
Peters preps for gravity. And when the body of that mutilated being hits the ground, it shatters with blood. It shatters like glass, I should say. Blood splatters everywhere. It's an interesting touch, especially because you said this is kind of similar to his other work.
It's very similar to, like I said, Mortal Kombat, where he films Sub-Zero, turns someone into ice, and then they shatter, or Resident Evil, where it's like you see someone's body go through a laser and the pieces just kind of crumble. So he likes to do people crumbling.
Yeah. I like to do people crumbling.
I believe it. You sick fuck. So like you established, now they only have 20 hours left of oxygen. So they have 20 hours to get the Lewis and Clark back up and running, or they die.
So the captain tells Smith, who located a huge gash, that he needs to repair it. When asked what happened to the doctor does not respond. In fact, I'm pretty sure he just says, "I don't know," a bunch of times. DJ mentions that Justin's vitals are stable, but he's unresponsive to stimuli.
Cooper described like the situation and everything that happened and like how he found him. And the doctor's just like, "Oh no, that's impossible. That didn't happen." It's just like, "I'm sorry, were you there?"
He has some kind of outside knowledge. I know this is his mission anyway, but he has a lot of knowledge of, or at least what he thinks his interpretations of what would happen.
Yeah, he says like the core opens, making an artificial black hole. This is when he explains that it's an artificial black hole. It's so shitty that like Cooper obviously, like, why would he lie about this? Yeah. And we're just completely downplays. It's like, no, you didn't see that.
Here's the common thing. Something happens and the doctor reacts like, "Listen, it's not what you think it is. It's either hallucination or trauma or something." Because
yeah, I know you're supposed to keep me alive, but you're crazy. So sorry.
Yeah.
That's his tactic. And here's the first example with Cooper. You experience an optical effect due to gravitational distortion. It's only possible if gravity waves are coming from the core. Highly unlikely. Doubt that's the scenario.
Then it is Peters checking on Jason, but she starts to hear noises. She grabs a knife and she goes to take this tent off. What is the
green tarp? It's a tarp.
It's a tarp.
Yeah.
So she takes this green tarp, and this is one of those scenes that it's like edited down. When she pulls the tarp off, she sees her kid. And it's just a quick look at his legs that look like festering wounds. It's supposed to be a longer scene with like more graphic, like what's actually growing out of his legs.
It looks corroded.
Supposed to have like maggots and shit on them.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's so quick you can't really tell. It's just one of those instances where it's like,
Could have been done better.
yeah, because he wanted to show. It's gotta suck to film these like cool graphical effects and not be able to show them off like in your film.
It's a shame too, because I think it would have worked perfectly. I love sci-fi movies, especially ones like a little mystery that this has. I think it would have been amazing to have those like super graphic touches and something like this.
Yeah.
Well, it
So-
depends on what rating you want. Like, if he wanted to make his money back and have a lot of people see it, even though the movie has a cult following now, back then, if he wanted it to be in theaters and for a lot of people to see it, you just have to like bite the bullet.
It's such a weird thing because like it's the time periods because like
Mhm.
you get like a movie like Indiana Jones where people's faces melt and there's blood everywhere and the movie's literally rated PG.
Yeah.
And then you get like movies in the 90s where it's like they struggle to get an R with certain things, or even like the Friday the 13th movies, like they cut so much out. And now you have today where it's like there's over the top abundance of like gore and different things. And it's like if Event Horizon came out today, people wouldn't even blink at like the effects.
Would be an afterthought.
Exactly.
Well, the whole orgy-ish scene, like, I feel like would not be an afterthought.
Oh,
Yeah.
the one scene. Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about
Dude,
that.
this crazy though, because like what they show with blood in other countries trumps this to a ridiculous degree.
This is
Yeah.
a PG movie in France.
Yeah, this is a PG movie in France. 100%.
Guys, we gotta go watch like movies in France.
I love French horror. It's actually probably my favorite genre of horror.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And we've only sadly done one
Like,
high tension.
Literally in Martyrs, a human being is flayed. Like it's
Inside, a baby is attempted to be cut out of a stomach.
yeah,
Dear
it's wild.
God.
One of my favorite movies, own it on DVD.
I think you own them both, right?
I own Martyrs. I own High Tension. I own Inside. I have a very good French horror collection.
Definitely gonna have to poop after we're done.
After she sees the kid, DJ comes up to her and it just disappears. It's not actually there. So now we get Peters, Miller, Ware, and this is where they watch the video log.
Yeah.
So it starts off normal. It's just the guys like, hey, this is my crew, and we're on the Event Horizon, and we're going to do this. And then it gets distorted, and you can't tell what happens.
It's like red, blurry, complete, and inaudible because you don't even know what they're saying.
Yes, and they tell Peters to fix it. When they fix it, I will talk in detail what is cut out of this videotape.
I could imagine. It's probably sick.
It's wild.
It's really sick. I read like the whole thing describing it, and I was like, that was a really bad idea.
I loved it. I love the use of. We'll get to it.
I'm just gonna be
Dick?
disappointed because I want to see this
I know.
thing complete.
So then the core starts to drain like more power. So Weir and Miller go to check it out together. I believe at this time, Justin also starts to have a seizure.
Yeah.
And DJ has to go help him.
And then he's about to get like a shot, and he mentions he's like, they're coming.
The dark.
The dark.
We then cut back to Weir. It's Weir, right?
It's weird. I called him Ware, but
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I'm just gonna call him the doctor.
Yeah, because I can't pronounce things.
Let me cut you off right there because we're gonna need more time, and it's time for me to talk about a product that's gonna give us more time. Listen, I like to vape. Shane, I know you like to vape. Jen, obviously, you like to vape. We all like to vape. It's 2021. Everybody's vaping, right? But our pods, Virginia tobacco, menthols, I mean, these things, they're giving us less time. They're preventing us from living our lives to the fullest. We're actually just putting rat poison in our bodies. We need more fulfilling things in our lives. Am I right? Am I right, you piece of shit? So, like, this is what I'm thinking. What if there's a way that we can combine the enjoyment of vaping and also time? Well, ladies and gentlemen, scientists have been able to take the last breaths of human beings, bottle it up, and put them into pods to vape. This brand new invention called Breath of Life has given us the ability to vape human life, literally. If you see a dying person on the side of the road, if you've seen that they've been hit by an 18-wheeler and their bloody carcass is lying on the side of the road, just an almost absolutely obliterated cadaver being picked up by vultures, and it just has one little piece of gaping life left in them, and their last breath, they're trying to get out their loved ones' names, but they just can't do it. Scientists have been so gracious enough to take that last piece of life and bottle it up for for our own enjoyment through vaping. Listen, if people have terminal cancer, if people are very sick with malaria, if people have been into biking accidents, if they've been thrown off cliffs and they give just one more little last breath of life, they've been able to bottle this up for other people's enjoyments. It's wild. But let me tell you something. It is the fountain of youth, and I could not recommend Breath of Life anymore. Get rid of the menthols. We're not doing it anymore. We're vaping Breath of Life. And for the low price of $14,745, you can have one single pod of Breath of Life. And if you use the promo code Breath of Life / the final podcast, you would get $5.50 off your next order. It's an amazing deal. I know. Don't let this pass you by. Breath of Life / the final podcast. I'm telling you, this is the new invention in vaping that is going to literally change the game and your life. No more wrinkles, no more health concerns. You'll be able to climb the stairs, you fat hoe. We'll all get through life together with Breath of Life. Let's all vape this shit together. You may say unethical. I say the hottest thing since fire. We are really on the cusp of something amazing with science and tech. This is amazing. This is Breath of Life. Please go check it out at Breath of Life / the final podcast.
So Sam Neill is inside a maintenance hatch, and like the lights start to flicker and dim, and then he hears his name being called, and then like it's a very well done shot. He kind of like turns around, and his wife is just staring at him with the no eyes.
Yeah, and I think she's like, "Be with me forever."
Yeah.
And then she disappears.
And this is when I think his real change takes place in his character.
His descent
is literally, he goes into the mouth of madness.
Nice.
Another
touch.
Sam Neill movie for those who are listening. So Miller sees the core light on fire, and a man rises out of the liquid of the core. He says, "You let me burn." I believe he says it in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miller just gets the hell out of there, and he tells the crew what he saw. And then Peters says what she saw with the child. Like, so she's seeing her kid. Miller seeing this man on fire.
Dude, it's just shock. It's all it is. It's in
Hallucinations.
Hallucinations. Come on.
Yes.
Gravitational distortion.
Yes. Smith is fed up with all this shit, and he goes to fight Weir. This is then when DJ goes to break up the fight, puts the knife next to Weir's throat.
Yeah. After he threatens him with the scalpel, lets him go. But then Smith all of a sudden tries to grab him, and then the captain throws him down. He tells him, "Listen, you have to repair the fucking ship." Miller is he's getting mad because he knows they're on a ticking clock and they have to get off.
This is a good time to mention DJ. His backstory, completely taken out of this movie. I know you like him, like his character.
I do like his character a lot.
He's a good character that had so much more potential with his backstory, which I will explain when we get to a later.
They took out pretty much everyone's backstory except maybe the doctors.
Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, and Peters are the only one who have like their backstory. And there was backstory for Stark, Cooper, DJ, and all three of them were taken out.
I mean, you're acting like I remember who plays what character. So
yeah, well, I'm hoping the people listening remember.
Good for you guys.
The one that bothers me the most is the blonde girl Stark, because through the first hour of this movie, she's just there because a lot of her scenes kind of are cut. And then the last half hour, she becomes like the hero.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense in the context of the movie because you never view her as that. She's kind of just a side character.
Well, she's second in command, I think.
She's lieutenant.
She is.
Yeah.
But like they don't portray her as important. To be fair, I thought Smith was going to play a bigger role.
Yeah. He does. People for a while, because I think that right in the beginning, right before they get on the event horizon, he barks a couple of orders at her.
Yeah.
And then like literally almost zero visibility until the end.
Yeah. It's a shame because like you can just feel the potential.
Oh yeah. So Stark, in one of the very few scenes you see before she takes extreme irrelevance into the last 30 minutes, she tells the captain that she believes the readings and the hallucinations, they seem like an immune system reaction. The ship is reacting and it's getting stronger, and that she believes the ship brought something back with it, a life force. But she said this is a long shot to him. This is just her perception, and it's a good one, but he ain't buying it.
No, he is not.
He's like, listen, we got 10 hours. That's all he wants to hear. Peter starts calling for Justin, where she is, and then the lights go out. And then that water tank that we're talking about starts flashing lights, and there's banging. And all of a sudden, how would you describe this? It's like an electrical explosion occurs above them.
Yeah.
And she runs back to the rest of them. What's behind her continues to bang on the door, and the doctor says to open it. He moves slowly to the door. Stark grabs his arm. He's ready to break it if it moves any closer to the door. And then there's an alarm for someone in the airlock. Peter says, oh, wait, it's Justin.
Yes. So Justin is now in the airlock with no suit on. And that's a big no-no in space travel.
Hell yeah, you definitely can't. That's
Seems kind of cold.
a little cold.
Yes.
So, a little cold.
So Stark tells Miller, because they can't open the door from their side, Justin has overrode it. And yeah, it's just me not being able to do words today. It's been a rough day.
3 shots in deep.
Don't combine Crystal Head vodka in 3 episodes in one night. That is the lesson tonight.
Don't be a pansy.
They're trying to talk to Justin now back at the door, and Peters is begging him to open it. But Justin says, it shows you things, horrible things about yourself.
The dark inside of me from the other place.
If you've seen the things I've seen, you wouldn't stop me.
Yeah.
Justin then opens the outer door, and it's on like a delay, so they still have time. But as soon as he hits this, he snaps out of a trance, and he becomes himself again.
And the thing is, like, he hits this. Stark can't open the inner door when the outer door has been activated, because if it opens at the same time, it could decompress the whole ship.
Yes. So Miller is like coming from the outside to kind of like catch him as he floats out. And like before that happens, though, you see as it's decompressing, his veins start to come out of his body.
They bulge
and start like exploding. And you see him hold his eyes because the decompression is like causing blood to like come out of his eyes.
It is like hanging in suspension in the air. Pretty sick.
Like this scene, like even if it was cut down, they do a really good job of like showing this. And it's like, oh my God.
And the captain is outside. He's like, breathe out all the air in your lungs as the airlock's door opens. And then the captain literally jumps from one side to the other, catches him. I think he catches him as he's coughing up blood into his face.
He is.
And he brings him onto back onto the ship.
Yeah, and I think it's DJ in the scene says he's going to live, but he's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to look like Elizabeth Moss.
Oh, God.
Miller saved Justin, and now Miller asks Ware for answers. Like, he's like, so why did one of my crew just try to commit suicide?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here?
They also have 4 hours until the air becomes toxic. That now becomes public knowledge to the crew. Stark mentions that Justin said that whole thing about the dark inside of him. And the captain's like, we need to know what this means. But the doctor just like walks away. And he follows him because he's pissed. He follows him down like this corridor. He asks him like, listen, what's on the other side of the gateway? We need more information. Where did he send the ship? And the doctor's like, I don't know. He's like, I need time.
Miller starts to hear a voice saying, don't leave me in the background.
Yep.
And this scene is awesome. So Miller goes up to DJ and he tells him about the voice he's hearing is an old crewmate who died in a fire. He was with his crew. There was a fire. He had no choice but to leave this man behind as the flames, if you've never seen space flames, they're blue. They engulf you and they had to leave him. And he's like, I never told anyone this story until now. Like, how does the ship know?
How does the ship know?
DJ then tells Miller the Latin. He's been re-listening to it. It wasn't save me. It actually was saying save yourself from hell.
Ex Infernus.
So now Cooper calls Miller saying he thinks he's fixed the Lewis and Clark, but he realizes he hasn't. He needs 20 more minutes. But now we get to the important part. Peters has fixed the tape. They watch the contents of this tape. It's quick clips. What you get from it is people kind of eating each other, a man pulling his intestines out of his mouth, and the captain, his face is carved and he's holding his eyes in his hand.
Yeah, this is for me the scariest part of the movie, just because of how brief this scene was. But you could tell it's like super graphic. Everybody's so creepy. You don't even know if these are human at this point. Like, everyone looks fucked.
Okay, so let's get into it. This is what not just me, but everyone used to call the blood orgy scene. So in the original cut of the blood orgy scene, they used real life amputees.
Mm-hmm.
So in this scene, it was longer. What they did was so if someone was missing an arm, they would have a prosthetic arm on them and smash it and have them eat it. Or there's another scene where a woman is shoving a lead pipe up a man's ass.
I was gonna say that one. Did you read the one where they were holding this woman down while they were like twisting her tits, and then the guy rips them off?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an intense scene, and for that purpose, I did not mind what they had cut it down to. For someone like me who's not watching the movie for that, maybe there could have been like a little more, but I felt like it was just at the threshold where I was just like, I would watch it again because there was enough. If there was a little more, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to watch this again. But it was good for someone who wants to watch a movie like this, but's not super into it. In my personal perspective, for someone who's a huge what did they call him?
It's a gorehound.
Gorehound, like Shane.
Gorehound?
I just made
Yeah,
that.
You
sure.
make up fucking words? What the fuck's a gorehound?
Yeah, gorehound. That's in our dictionary. I'm putting it in there. Gorehound, like Shane. We're not teaching him that to his daughter. Don't worry.
Well, let me kiss
For someone who's a gorehound like Shane, like I get that you would want that. I fully understand it.
Yeah, I like gore, but it's not like it depends on the movie. Like certain movies don't need it. I think you even said it. This is the type of movie where it's like I kind of want to see those effects in this. Like I want to see like kind of like
maybe a little more. I feel like the full amount that he had in there, I wouldn't have loved.
I think because this movie literally deals with hell. It's like Hellraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Hellraiser, it's like you want to see like the skin being ripped off by the pillar that's spinning in the nightclub.
The chains and the
It's like
it's fledgling.
But if I'm like, say I'm watching a movie like It Follows, I don't want to see gore. I want to see atmosphere and suspense. You know, it's just it depends on the movie.
So my thoughts are, I didn't know until after that you told me that they cut out stuff from that scene. I think the scene is pretty quick and cryptic and was very creepy. Just like watching it short, the short abridged version. So like it's totally fine for me. I don't have a complaint with it. However, it would be really interesting to see the director's cut if they ever make it with the additional content, because you know me, I love that stuff. I would like to see it.
I also love when they hire people like an amputee to play that role because it makes it look so much realer. Like,
that was like a great touch that wasn't super acknowledged in like this one.
Like a movie me and Bryan watched probably a couple months ago, The Sentinel.
Yeah.
Where there's a scene where it's supposed to be all these like ghouls from like it's like another dimension, right? It's kind of like hell. The director actually hired all people with physical deformities to make it as real looking as possible.
Remember Under the Skin, where they hired the one guy with the facial deformity?
Yep. I like when movies do that. So after they watch this tape, Miller just says, "We're leaving," and Weir says, "We can't leave without the ship." Miller says he's taking the Lewis and Clark as far away from the ship as possible, and he is shooting tactical missiles at the ship. Fuck this ship. Weir does this thing. He does this thing where he says, "You can't leave the ship. This is my home now." And he just fades into the fucking shadows like he's a vampire.
No joke. In the back, he just fucking becomes one with the darkness behind him. Just slinks back there.
Yeah. He's gone full like he is the ship now. Cut to Peters and Smith, and they're taking out the oxygen pods. They're like getting it all ready so they could put it on the Lewis and Clark so they can breathe while they're getting out of here. Smith leaves the core and he leaves Peters behind, and she starts to leave too. But then Peters looks into the core. And when she looks into the core, it's almost like the ship starts to control what she sees, because that's when she starts to think she sees her son like run by. So she climbs up a ladder to follow him. And when she's there, she sees her son again, and he's standing all the way at the end of the hall. And she starts to walk forward towards him. And as she's walking, she's just looking ahead. She doesn't see right in front of her is a giant hole. And this is actually pretty sick, this scene. She falls down the hole, and you actually see her bang her head, bang her leg, like bang her arm into like the hole as she's falling down, and she just falls onto this metal grate, splats, and you just see like her broken bones like sticking out, and she's just dead on the core.
It's a very gruesome scene, but it was really cool.
Like kind of reminds me of the warehouse in Dead by Daylight. It's a map that we play on, and there's like a bunch of like holes, pipe holes that you can jump through to try and get away, but like it takes like a hot second to do so.
Mhm.
But I was like, oh, this is just like the pipe, except like I'm not dead yet.
I was gonna say, do you die when you fall down that hole?
No, it's just a way to get away. Like it's actually like kind of a far drop, but I guess it's not like far enough that it would hurt anyone. You actually can't get hurt by falling in that game. You can only get hurt by the killer.
Okay. Sadly for Peter, she could get hurt by falling in this one because she's dead.
Her bones don't know how to cooperate. They're not cat bones.
No,
She's
she is not
used up-
made of liquid.
She's used up her 9 lives.
Like looking up, her son is shown like at the top of the
Oh yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah.
where the core is.
That was super interesting because that's like you kind of think these would be hallucinations because that's what it's kind of referring to because they do go away.
Yeah.
But when you see her son like right at the top, it's just like, oh, that's not a hallucination.
No, it's more of like a projection of the ship.
Yeah.
The doctor notices Peter is dead on the floor. He runs to her, but then he hears his wife calling out to him again. He walks into a bathroom, sees her in the mirror of the bathroom, and he thinks he's right at home.
Yeah, he does.
He snaps back. He sees her I think he sees her in the room that he's currently in that bathtub. She's in there. Then there's another flash and she's in there dead, covered in blood. And then of course she appears next to him. So it's like all of these flashes that are happening simultaneously. And then she starts consoling him. She tells him that he'll never be alone again. She has wonderful things to show him. And then she starts digging her fingers into his head.
Yes, into his eyes specifically, because then when we pan out to him actually on this ship, it's actually him ripping out his own eyes.
Yeah.
Can I just say that like she didn't need to do that? Like her nipples were sharp enough; they could have gotten the job done.
Whew! Hot take.
Hot steak.
I don't know why, like because we're like at eye level with them in that shot. I was just like, these are at attention.
Very dangerous nipples.
They are. They were sharp.
So we now cut to Smith. He sees Ware going down an elevator and going onto the Lewis and Clark.
Yeah. He
And-
calls up the captain. The captain tells him an explosive is missing, and he may put it on the Lewis and Clark.
Yes. So Smith is frantically like searching for this, and he finds it, and it says 6 seconds.
It's rough. He just looks down.
Dude, he actually like does a really good job in this scene because he just looks so fucking like terrified because he knows he can't escape.
Yeah.
And he blows up, and the whole Lewis and Clark blows up. And that's when I was like, damn, I thought he was like the secondary character in this, and he's just gone. Also, when he blows up, this sends Cooper flying into space because he was still on the hull of the ship outside.
Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that, to be honest. Do you like that part? It's a little comic relief, I think. But
Yeah,
like,
he's supposed to, like, his whole character is comic relief. He's another one though where like you don't know anything about him
yeah,
other than he's like the funny black guy.
yeah.
That's like all you know about him.
My whole thing with the scene was I feel like it just took away from a really serious,
Like him, like
violent movie.
yeah. I don't disagree with you, especially because does it happen yet?
What he does do
Yeah,
is
okay, yeah, it does happen now.
he blows on his air tank. He gets to work. He propels off this piece of spacecraft right into space.
And he says, "I'm coming back, motherfuckers," which is like it's not necessary. Like,
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying.
I just feel like it was a little off tone.
It was out of place.
Yeah, but he's heading back up towards the event horizon.
Yes, this is when Miller calls DJ and he tells him, "Kill Weir Bear on site." And as soon as like DJ gets off this call with him, Ware grabs him. Ware tosses DJ around. He throws him on the med lab and he proceeds to cut open his chest.
Yo, that was like, I know they didn't show it. I'm assuming, and you'll probably tell me in a second, that it was in like the scenes that didn't make it. But just like the idea of it, I was like, oh God.
Yes. So I actually have two things, and I think you'll like both of them. One is the obvious. There is a more graphic. It's not much at it, but they do show more of the cut open. And also when he's hanging, his intestines are actually supposed to be hanging down and like laying on the table.
Do you recognize that position?
Yeah, kind of like the reverse of the Midsummer Viking. So like instead of the Viking, you know, where they ripped the back, this was ripping the stomach open, and like all the intestines were laid out on the operating table.
Yeah.
And now my other fun fact. We've talked multiple times about them dropping character backstory. This is one of the major backstories they dropped. In the movie, there is mentioned with DJ's character. I think he was a medic in the war. And like, if you see when they open, he has the scar already going down his chest. It's said that one of his biggest fears in life is to be operated on while still conscious.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
So,
that
like-
was horrifying though. Like the idea of being operated on while conscious. Like,
Yeah, and
That's Awake.
yeah. Oh yeah, it is Awake with Hayden Christensen
Yeah.
and Jessica Alba.
Yeah, see, that movie hits a lot of fears for
Yeah.
sure. Being awake but being operated on and feeling it, but not being able to do anything about it.
Yeah. It's like, and now going back to DJ's situation, it's like that scene is more, it's impactful now. But then, like, if you were to know his backstory that he's so terrified of this, it's like it adds even more to like his character. Because, like you said, he's a very likable character in this movie. He's always trying to help.
And you saying he's like a combat medic or was in the war or whatever makes so much sense because when he says gets the order to kill from Miller, he grabs a saw. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's ready to fight. So it's not like he just has no idea what he's doing.
And that it's like none of that's explained unless like we ever got that director's cut.
yeah.
So, like we said, he's now strung up, and Miller comes in and he sees DJ has been gutted. And now I know at this point in time, you're like, hey, Stark hasn't been in the movie in a half hour.
yeah, she really hasn't.
So Miller, he then arms himself to get ready to take out Ware, and he finds Stark knocked out on the floor.
How does she get there?
No idea. It's cut out of the movie.
Yeah. Her character has like these little one-liners here and there. So she exists, but she's supposed to have like a much bigger role.
Yeah.
And she's ignored for about half an hour of the movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really weird choice that was unintentional and that like they definitely had to have cut things out, which I was very confused by. It definitely confused because they didn't set her up to be an unimportant character.
Correct.
They set her up to be like decently important because she's second in command and clearly has almost the most trust out of the entire crew and knows the most about the ship and everything. And then suddenly we don't see her and then she's on the floor somehow.
Yeah, it's weird. And now quote Shane, she could get it.
I don't think I said that.
I did.
Okay. But yeah, it makes no sense. Like you throw me off every fucking time we do this. It's like I try to stay on topic and it's so hard. It's so hard. And no, I am not talking about my penis.
It's so hard.
I mean, we are at this point.
I believe it.
So she's unconscious on the ground.
Doc's in the chair.
He gives her the smelling salts. It wakes her up. He picks her up. And then he looks behind him, and the doctor just whirls on the captain's command center chair. So he's taking over now. So he's picking Stark up, and then he just drops her like a potato sack.
He's like, you can fend for yourself. You're fine.
Back to getting unconscious on the ground.
Yeah. This is also where we're going to learn this movie is the plot of Doom. Because he explains the event horizon went to a dimension of pure evil and chaos. He's saying they went to hell, which essentially is like Doom, where it's like they open the portal and hell comes to Mars. Like,
yeah. So I guess I forgot the exact year, but on their initial expedition, I forgot the word. It was a gravity drive.
Yeah.
Or was it something like that?
We said gravity drive. It sounds familiar.
Gravity drive. They gravity drove and they basically jumped to hell and they never know what happened to it. They just assume they went through the black hole and they could not find it anymore, but it did come back
from hell
and it took on the hell life form within the ship.
To hell at this point in the chair. And Stark attacks him, but she just gets insta-tossed away.
Yeah, and if we haven't described like what he looks like to this point,
we haven't.
Eyes are gone.
Yep.
Sewn shut. Because he was digging in there, which you explained before. He looks so creepy, but in typical Sam Neill fashion, he's playing this part to almost perfection. Total psycho. Like you said, he's ready to make hell. Like here on the event horizon.
Most people just know him as, oh, he's the nice doctor in Jurassic Park. This man is crazy.
Yeah.
Watch In the Mouth of Madness. Watch Possession. Watch this movie. Yeah. Like he plays some crazy roles. So now Cooper shows up at the window and Weir shoots at him, but shoots through the window, knocking Cooper back and now sucking everything up.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just getting sucked hard. See? It's not so easy when I do it to you.
Sucks hard. And with the pressure coming in, Miller starts to slide. He grabs onto a part of the ship to prevent them from falling out. The doctor is sent flying in the command chair, but he's able to fall and hold onto a floor grating.
Yes, just like the movie Jason X would do it a couple of years later.
Yeah, and that grating is starting to lift off the ground, and he loses support with one hand and then the other, and he is chucked out of the spacecraft and into the stars.
Yes, and now it's Miller trying to get through the door. He does, and he is actually able to pull Stark through the door with him, sealing the door, so they are both now safe.
Yeah.
They hear an alarm go off at the forward airlock, and now they see that Cooper has actually made it back onto the ship.
A for effort.
Yes. So all three survivors are now together. Miller wants to blow the bridge, separating the ship so they don't have to like go to hell, essentially. So they have established in this movie that those explosives were in the middle area because you can separate the just like kind of like an escape pod at the back of the ship, and then they won't be part of the main ship. So their goal is to blow that, stay in the small part, and then the rest of the ship goes back to hell.
Yeah. And Miller's going to sign some orders. He tells Stark to stay there, prepare the gravity couches, and close the door behind him. So he arms the explosives. Cooper activates the emergency beacon, and I think he notices that blood starts to drip on his hands from up above.
The ship is bleeding. We then see the blood in the tank start to fill up, and then it blows up, knocking like Stark down like a ladder. This kind of reminded me of The Shining with the elevator opening and the blood like pouring out.
Of it. Yeah.
So this scene is actually my least favorite scene in the whole movie. I think it's kind of cheesy. Miller then gets attacked by the man that's on fire. I just think it's like the noises when they actually punch.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching an Adam West Batman movie would be the best way to describe this. Because it's just like you hear it's noises we used in The Gooch.
Yeah.
Which is a movie we filmed, but
yeah,
it's what it sounds like.
Effects, yeah.
So after he kind of like Miller fights this guy off, the guy that's on fire actually turns into Weir. And would you say this version of him is like his creepiest version?
Probably.
Because his eyes are back, but now he just has these like small cuts all over his body.
He kind of looks like a weird version of Pinhead, or like a weird version of like those things you saw in the earlier transmission or videotape that they were showing.
So
Just like a demon.
What'd you say? Yes, this is the doctor.
I did not catch that. I thought it was someone entirely different.
No, he even says, like, Miller says, like, I saw you like get sucked out of the ship, and Sam Neill says the ship has a way. It brought me back. The ship brought me back to my home.
In the video with the original crew, isn't he in the video as well?
No, the captain of the original crew.
Oh, I thought it was the same demon.
No, well, I mean, it could be.
That's what I was saying. I think that when they kind of devolve and become like hellish creatures, that looks similar to what he looks like now.
Yes.
Okay.
It's almost like when Sam Neill died, the ship still took his soul.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I took it as. Since it's hell takes souls all the time. Miller like starts fighting Sam Neill. Like I said, it's kind of the noises and stuff is kind of weird. Miller says, I won't let you take my crew.
He's very adamant about, keeping his crew alive, especially with the backstory he had where he had to prevent this guy, Eddie, who was previously fighting from living, because he had to escape, and he had to close the door on him to prevent him from escaping.
Yes. But Weir says, you are all coming with me. But Miller grabs the detonator and blows the ship up, killing himself. Yeah. Well, he doesn't actually kill himself. He actually goes to hell, technically, right?
Yeah.
Because that part of the ship doesn't blow up.
So he actually sacrifices his soul.
Yeah, because he just blows up the in-between part. So now the Cooper and Stark are safe in the escape pod, and Miller is now stuck in the rest of the ship going to hell with Sam Neill. So the event horizon goes through the back hole back to hell, leaving Stark and Cooper. They go into the stasis pods. Did we establish we're going to call them?
Yeah, that's fine.
72 days later, a rescue crew arrives. The rescue crew finds Cooper, Stark,
and
Justin. We mention he's still alive in a stasis pod?
Dude, that guy's been through the fucking works, man.
But he has
literally.
He has made it. So I like this ending because it's left ambiguous. So Stark is taken out first, and when she sees the guy rescuing her, he takes his helmet off, but it's Sam Neill all carved up.
Yeah.
But that's not what I like. What I like is that was a dream.
Stark wakes up from a nightmare and shakes off, and she's just shaking and generally in fear.
And Cooper is holding her saying, it was just a dream. It was just a dream. But the way they film it the camera kind of pans out behind the door and the door just ominously closes. So have they actually escaped or not?
Great question.
And
Up for
that is
debate.
the end of Event Horizon. And I'm going to say I enjoyed it despite the stuff being taken out. I still think it's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
You want to jump into your rating then?
Yeah, let's jump right
of course.
in.
I'm going to give this a hot 7 out of 10. It has flaws. It's one of those movies, though. I've seen it so many times, and I saw it. It's unlike The Blair Witch, where it's like I saw The Blair Witch when I was younger, rewatched it, and I didn't like it as much. I still like this movie. I still feel like I feel the same way I did from the beginning. Obviously, can't say enough about Sam Neill. He's so creepy, so crazy. The backstory disappoints me, but I can't fault them for doing it. It's like the studio made them because of the test screening. So it's like, what are you going to do? Not make the movie?
Yeah, it's a tough predicament.
Yeah. One thing we haven't mentioned, and I'm going to mention now in my review, very, 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 very interesting music choices to open and close this movie by using Prodigy.
Yeah. Yep, Prodigy. I didn't know they opened it. I know they closed it.
Maybe they didn't open it, but even
They might have.
the opening music is like, it was very interesting because it just goes this like techno rave ending, and I'm like, kind of doesn't fit. But yeah, overall, I liked it. 7 out of 10. Go right ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, I liked it too. I'm going 6 out of 10, but like a high, strong 6. Man, I was telling Shane earlier, this could have been for me like a movie that really could have been like a low 8, a moderate, like low to medium 8, because number one, I love sci-fi movies blended with horror, and this movie had very good kills. I think towards the end, I think they started killing off characters a little too quick. And like one of the things before I even knew that there were those missing plot holes, I just thought it was crazy. Like you mentioned Stark being on the ground. That was immediately a question mark. I'm like, why the fuck is she on the ground? Like, where has she been?
It makes no sense.
And then you mentioned it to me and you told me about like all the missing footage. And I'm like, dude, this could have been so good. Like I know we think it's good now, but I'm saying like this could have been very good.
Well, it could have been an iconic space horror movie.
This is already a cult classic, but I'm saying like this could have been like one of the greats in my opinion, like in terms of sci-fi horror. I love the idea of them going for a rescue mission while they're not supposed to be, while they're supposed to be off. So they're already pissed at Samuel, who's put in a literally perfect role for him. Like he's immediately already on the get-go, hated by everybody else on his crew, and he delineates into madness that we've seen, and he does so well in previous movies. So casting choices are great. Lawrence Fishburne is always a rock star as well. Great casting for him as Miller. For me, just the missing pieces, they're very clear. Like they're very clearly missed, and it's unfortunate because I think this could have been a very good horror movie. So strong 6 out of 10 for me, but I definitely would watch this again.
And we'll go right to you, Jen.
I'm gonna be honest, there's some parts where, like you said, when she's on the ground, or like very few things that I didn't notice, like backstory wise. I didn't really miss them because I wasn't looking for them. I wasn't quite that invested when I was watching. I was just watching and enjoying it. I actually really enjoyed this watch. I feel like for someone who doesn't want always a ton of gore, like if I want a gore movie, I will seek it out. I will find it and I will watch the shit out of it. But if I'm not looking for a gore movie and I wasn't expecting it, this was the perfect amount for me. Like I didn't really mind it because it's still like those parts were equally as fucked up, and I thought that it was still done well. Probably would have made more sense, like you guys said, if there were a bit more backstory. But like I said, I didn't really pay attention or notice. It was still a really good watch and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a solid 7 because I feel like if my friends wanted to watch this, I would watch it again. If I go 6 and below, I'm probably never watching this again.
I would say my cutoff is I watch everything more than once because I have.
Yeah, look,
I don't.
the way I structured the rating system on the show is actually wrong. Because I said like 5 is the middle way point, but I actually watch stuff under 5 all the time. Like the 2s that are hilarious. I literally watch Birdemic a ton of times. I've literally seen Rise of the Scarecrow. So the metric system doesn't really work. I think you just got to say, hey, I wouldn't watch this again.
Yeah. Like there's like 6s that I wouldn't watch again. Yeah. And I would watch like a 2 over, but that's not because the 2's a better movie. It's just the 2's more entertaining.
Yeah. No, that's true. There's movies that could be absolute dog shit, but they're entertaining as fuck. So like you want to watch them again.
So gentlemen, it has come to the point where we give our nominations to add someone to our Necronomicon, our Book of the Dead, stick them inside the Jin's lamp, ignore him for the next 50 plus years until we die, and then we'll be like, oh fuck, I forgot about that. But then we'll consider revisiting, but we'll probably be old, so we probably won't. So who do we want to give that to?
DJ.
Which one's DJ?
He's the one who gets operated on while still alive.
I was thinking of the captain.
The captain just being sent to hell.
Sure. I just liked him. I thought he was honestly like great captain.
Oh yeah, he was
for sure, no doubt. I love it because he played the role well to know like what he had to do with his crew from his previous issue, his backstory. He was stern where he needed to be, and he made he had to make those tough choices.
Yeah, I'm thinking DJ because I liked his character and I really liked his death.
God, if that backstory was in there, how much better would that have been? Yeah, I know, I don't know.
I know, no, I get it. I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't go into this and I didn't watch it a second time knowing that scenes were cut.
Yeah, but you want to know why it's so big? Because I look at all the other kills and they're interesting, but his was so elaborately laid out.
DJ's?
Yeah, because it was literally a tableau in front of the operating room. Nobody else dies like that in the movie.
Peters dies falling, but it's because of her kid. There's reason for it.
That's a good death too, man.
And the captain is fighting his own personal demons and then sacrifices himself to save his crew, which is making up for it. So that's also his backstory. DJ, you don't know it, but that is his backstory. I would say Smith is the one guy that he just blows up.
He blows up. I know I was gonna go Smith only because this actor played this so fucking well.
When he looks at the 6 seconds,
looks at the 6 seconds,
you see his sadness.
First of all, he's a boss because he didn't run away. He tried to defuse it, or try to find it. And I think he was trying to defuse it.
Well, his goal was to find it and get rid of it. But he saw that there was only 6 seconds left when he found it.
His expression was priceless.
Priceless, right? And that kind of stuck out to me. So I'm gonna go him. And make it interesting because now we got to flip a Necronomicoin.
How do we flip 3 Necronomicoin?
A 3-way Necronomicoin.
That is a good point.
How did we do it last time?
We took the guest's recommendation.
3, right? Okay, you know what?
D4. You want to do D4?
Yeah, just go to Google, get a D4. We'll do whoever yours is, Shane. We'll go you 1, Jen 2, and me 3. And then 4 is a reroll.
Who is number 2?
You.
Yeah.
All right, it's the captain.
Motherfucker.
Captain Miller,
don't feel like I sound that enthusiastic.
Yeah, I had an interesting death because he's dead technically because he's going to hell.
Yeah.
But you don't see him die on screen.
Yeah. You assume he's going to be tortured.
No, yeah, he's dead. No, you're in hell.
What was his name?
Dead in hell.
Captain Miller.
I feel like I was so unsure if they were dead because at the time when he shows him hell, he's like, they're alive?
It's more so their souls. It's not that the body is alive. The soul is still alive. And that's it's eternal damnation, essentially.
Oh, that blows.
That scene where it's all quick flashes is another thing that was cut in the movie. It wasn't much longer, but they stayed on and showed each
that's the
crewmate and what was their torture device was. No, it's different. The orgy was the actual videotape.
You're talking about what's flashing before his eyes, the captain, right?
It flashes before Lawrence Fishburne's eyes of his actual crew. If you actually freeze frame, it's Smith has a spike going through his head and out of his mouth. Jason has barbed wire wrapped around his eyes and the rest of his body. One of the other crew is literally on a thing getting impaled by multiple spikes in a circle. It's pretty graphic. Yeah, that's one I think I understand why they took it back a peg because
I didn't realize that was their soul. That's so intense.
I know. All right, so I guess it's time for me to give a quick eulogy here for old Captain Miller. Yep. So, Captain Miller, you are going into our Book of the Dead, our Necronomicon. You were a tremendous captain. You made some mistakes in the past. You watched a guy light on blue fire and left him there, but you learned. We respect a man who learns from his mistakes. We are happy that you gave your soul to hell just to make sure 3 of your crewmates made it out alive. And for that, we put you in our Necronomicon.
I'm just going to say, that's fucking above and way beyond the line of duty.
Who was the third one, by the way?
Who was what?
The third crewmate that got out?
Justin. He was the kid.
He was the one that
from
went
the airlock.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor kid.
I know.
I actually don't even know how that guy was able to survive.
Yeah, he's gonna be fucked.
Yeah, well, they said he's not gonna look pretty.
I meant mentally, but okay.
Captain Miller saved his
Yeah,
life.
that's true.
Great man, and he went to hell for people.
Yeah,
He
he's
is-
going to be tortured with everybody.
How crazy is that? This guy fucking saved everyone's life.
And now has to be tortured until the end of time.
Brutal, bro.
It really is.
So brutal.
It's a really brutal movie.
Shane, you got a eulogy, kiddo?
I gave it already.
Fuck, I'm done.
We're tired. It's late.
It's late. Yeah, it's late.
I have work in the morning.
Yeah.
I never even closed the damn
Yeah, I was
book.
waiting for you to
Shut the
close
book.
it for a while. He closed the book.
I don't even remember the eulogy. Like,
It's okay. That's our review of Event Horizon. And next week, we are doing a special St. Patty's Day episode.
Ooh.
We are reviewing the classic Jennifer Aniston horror movie, Leprechaun.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Warwick Davis, Jennifer Aniston. Let's go. I think we got
And a hot-
Bratwurst on for that.
Yes, we do.
Hot minute.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Bratwurst.
Who's on for that one?
Bratwurst, Benanti.
Oh,
He personally requested, like, he asked us to please let him be on the Leprechaun episode. And I'm very happy he did
I
ask.
think we watched it with him like a couple years
We
ago.
did.
Right?
We did.
I don't know why, but go for it, dude. Shoot your shot, Leprechaun.
Yeah, I'm ready. So we are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week. Fuck you, Lucky Charms. So if you haven't already, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter at The Final Pod Ever. Follow us on Instagram at The Final Podcast. And if you haven't, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple. It really, really helps Apple, push out our content and recommend us to other people to listen to.
Oh no, yeah, totally. The milkshake is always worth me shitting the entire night.
Okay.